Does popcorn pair well with coffee? You're going to need both today. It's the day we've all been waiting for a very long time. The Clintons are in New York, set to testify in the Epstein probe. Hillary testifies today. Bill testifies tomorrow, both before the House Oversight Committee. Now, as you know, they were subpoenaed weeks ago, and they were both no-shows. So then they were going to be held in contempt of Congress. Here's a little more background.
We're going to hold both Clintons in criminal contempt of Congress.
I'm going to note for the record that former President Clinton is not present.
Today, the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform meets to advance two resolutions recommending that the House of Representatives find former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress for refusing to comply with duly issued subpoenas. The question is now on favorably reporting the William J. Clinton contempt report as amended.
Mr. Chairman, on this vote, the ayes are 34, the nays are 8, with 2 voting present.
The ayes have it. Pursuant to this vote, the committee hereby favorably reports and adopts this report recommending that the House of Representatives find William J. Clinton in contempt of Congress for refusal to comply with the subpoena duly issued by this committee. The question is now on favorably reporting the Hillary R. Clinton contempt report as amended.
Mr. Chairman, on this vote, the ayes are 28, the nays are 15, with 1 voting present.
The ayes have it. Pursuant to this vote, the committee hereby favorably reports and adopts this report recommending that the House of Representatives find Hillary R. Clinton in contempt of Congress for refusal to comply with a subpoena duly issued by this committee. We will move the report to the full House. Today, the Clintons must be held accountable for their actions, and Democrats must support these measures or they will be exposed as hypocrites.
But if Comer tries to bring this resolution, he wants to lock Hillary Clinton up, consistent with what Donald Trump's been saying now for 10 years, lock her up, then we'll deal with it appropriately.
So instead of the possibility of jail time, they agreed to testify, but not before posting their thoughts on social media. Let's start with Bill. On February 6th, he posted this: "I will not sit idly as they use me as a prop in a closed-door kangaroo court by a Republican Party running scared. If they want answers, let's stop the games and do this the right way in a public hearing where the American people can see for themselves what this is really about." He goes on to say in a separate post, "Now Chairman Comer says he wants cameras, but only behind closed doors. Who benefits from this arrangement? It's not Epstein's victims who deserve justice, not the public who deserve the truth. It serves only partisan interests. This is not fact-finding, it's pure politics." And finally, he said, "I have called for the full release of the Epstein files. I have provided a sworn statement of what I know, and just this week I've agreed to appear in person before the committee. But it's still not enough for Republicans on the House Oversight Committee." Then Hillary, also on February 6th, she posted, "For 6 months, we engaged Republicans on the Oversight Committee in good faith. We told them what we know, under oath. They ignored all of it. They moved the goalpost and turned accountability into an exercise in distraction." Followed with that post, she says this: "So let's stop the games. If you want this fight, Representative James Comer, let's have it in public. You love to talk about transparency. There's nothing more transparent than a public hearing. Cameras on." Now, while the Clintons claim they've answered questions, this morning Representative James Comer said they've never answered a single question about their well-documented ties to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Comer says that ends today. But that's not all. Bill and Hillary aren't even going to Capitol Hill to testify. They're not going to D.C. The House Oversight Committee members are going to them in New York. They're meeting at a secure facility about 1 mile away from the Clintons' home. Again, it all happens today. We will be watching. Stay with LINDELLTV for updates. And meanwhile, on the same day the Clintons testify, we're getting word that the president and CEO of the World Economic Forum has resigned over accusations of his ties to Epstein. Børge Brende of Norway has been the head of the World Economic Forum since 2017. In the files, it was revealed that Brenda had several business dinners with Epstein and had a series of text messages and emails with him. This is all new, just coming in within the last few minutes. We'll keep you posted on his resignation as well. Now in Minnesota, let's go there now. More fraud uncovered. Vice President J.D. Vance and Dr. Mehmet Oz, they unleashed the unfathomable. People using kids to claim they have autism, all in an effort to get money. In one scheme, criminals paid mothers $1,000 to enroll their children falsely as autistic, then billed Medicaid millions of dollars in services that were never performed.
Let me share some of these horrible stories. The vice president started highlighting autism. Let's get into the details of what's really going on in Minnesota. These are real cases from our group at CMS. These are adjudicated numbers. There's a fraud scheme in Minnesota where criminals, soon to be criminals, pay moms $1,000 roughly in order to enroll their children as being autistic, falsely, dishonestly claiming their children are autistic. They then bill Medicaid, this has already happened, millions of dollars for services that were never rendered, never delivered by a qualified staff member. These schemes disproportionately involve immigrant communities. They're insulated, they're able to organize efforts, and sometimes they don't understand what's going on. And it ultimately diverts resources away from kids who truly have autism. Because if every kid in the neighborhood has autism, then nobody has autism in terms of how you can manage them. There was one behavioral, and by the way, these kids, they carry that diagnosis of autism the rest of their lives. Their mom made a bad decision, the kid pays the price for the rest of their life. There's one behavioral health organization, Mr. Vice President, in Minnesota. They received $11.5 million in Medicaid payments, but the top biller submitted 450 days where they claimed they were working more than 24 hours a day. I mean, even in the White House, that's tough. It's hard to work more than 24 hours a day. How it didn't get picked up is shocking to us at CMS. There are other red flags in Minnesota, including hundreds of beneficiaries receiving treatment linked to one location, which was impossible physically to be true. We had 8 beneficiaries in one of these substance use disorder centers, 8 who were already dead, but the center was still billing us. Not only did they let the person pass, they kept billing for it. That's the level of average we're talking about. So CMS is done paying and chasing. We don't think jail sentences are the right way out. These criminals flee the country. Many are foreign nationals. Instead, we're launching the largest action against fraud that we've ever taken. The money's not going to ever leave the building again. We're going to start draining the swamp of the crooks that have inhabited it and are defrauding us.
Truly sick. Parents in on it. Bogus companies that don't even exist getting millions of dollars. J.D. Vance then went to the podium. Here's what he had to say.
One of the examples of fraud that we've seen in Minnesota that we verified that is just awful is that a program that existed to ensure that autistic children had access to some after-school services has made a number of people rich. Not by providing services to needy children, but by allowing fraudsters to take money that ought by right go to American citizens and to American families, and to set up sham businesses, set up sham clients, set up people who are not even autistic but claim to be autistic in order that they benefit from the money that's out there. Now, what does that mean? Number one, it means that a lot of people are getting rich off the generosity of American taxpayers, but more fundamentally and more importantly than that, it means that there are kids in Minnesota who deserve these services, who need these services, and they're not going to those kids, they're going to fraudsters in Minneapolis. That is unacceptable, and that's the sort of thing that we're cutting off with this action today.
Yeah, an independent journalist, Nick Shirley, he showed us weeks ago in his expose. Remember when he went to one fake business and there were no kids? Let's take a look back.
Because little Joey couldn't get into a daycare, we went to an autism center, as they have been popping up everywhere as a rise of autism has occurred here in Minnesota. Because of the government funds that they are receiving, I tried to check my son Joey into an autism center.
We've been going to a lot of these daycare centers. We're trying to find a spot for our little boy Joey, but we thought maybe we could check him in the autism center. Because none of the daycare centers are open. Yeah, and how many kids do you guys have at this autism center?
I can't give you a number now.
Like more than 5?
Probably. Yeah.
Probably, so you don't really know?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about like the fraud that's been labeled on the autism centers here? What do you guys do think about the fraud, or how come the autism centers are popping up?
I can't answer.
What news? Are you a news reporter?
My name's Nick. We're doing a little documentary trying to find little Joey a spot to put himself in one of these centers here. Because there's...
Why are you asking us about
the fraud?
stuff like that?
Yeah, because we want to make sure we're going to legit business if we're going to bring our little boy Joey here.
This is not a Joey spot. Yeah. But that's our number on your electric bill. But this is we can't let you guys do so.
Okay, thank you. So once again, little Joey, he can't even go to daycare, and now they won't even accept him if he has autism.
And again, no kids. Couldn't tell you how many kids they serve.
After being able to provide no evidence of them actually...
No evidence, no kids. Minnesota is on the chopping block. It's all coming to light. And representatives like Ilhan Omar, they're screaming, literally. This was her at the State of the Union yelling at the president. It's all happened under her watch. And her friend, Governor Tim Walz. He testifies before Congress next week on the fraud being found in their state. Dr. Oz says if Minnesota fails to clean up the systems, the state will rack up $1 billion of deferred payments this year. He gave Governor Walz 60 days to respond. President Trump has announced a massive trade deal with Japan, oil and gas facilities in Texas, Ohio, and Georgia, a massive $550 billion commitment. President of the Ohio Gas Association, Jimmy Stewart, joining us today with more on the president's announcement. Jimmy, good to see you. How are you?
Doing great. It's always good to spend my mornings with Vanessa. So nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Love the state of Ohio, everything that you all are doing there. Let's talk about this new announcement. $33 billion facility is being described as the largest natural gas power plant in U.S. history. What does this mean for Ohio's energy future?
Well, I want to be clear at the outset. We are still awaiting the details on this, but they're talking about this being about a 9 gigawatt electricity generation facility. To put that in perspective, the Ohio Business Roundtable about a year ago did a pretty in-depth study that indicated that over the next few years, Ohio would need somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 additional gigawatts of electric power. That's a lot, even for a big state like Ohio. That's significant. And obviously that electricity has to come from somewhere. It's probably not going to come from coal, and it's probably in the short term not going to come from nuclear. That leaves natural gas. And fortunately, Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, Northern West Virginia, a handful of counties there, if they were their own country, would essentially produce more natural gas than any other country on earth except for Russia. So there's plenty of supply in our region, Ohio and our two neighboring states, that we could certainly get to this facility. We're still waiting to see the details, but it's significant. I mean, this would make a significant impact on electricity generation in our region and potentially into the next region next door to us for the electric grid.
Yeah, and the economic impact as well for surrounding communities and industries. Ohio's gas industry already serves millions of customers and plays a major role in energy delivery and infrastructure. So this could be good for the economy as well.
Oh, absolutely. And, the fact that, on the one hand, low natural gas prices here for the last 15 years, generally speaking, have maybe not been the best thing for those who produce natural gas, but the consumers are the ones that have benefited, particularly not just the natural gas customers, but also any electric power generation generating their electricity from burning natural gas. So cheap natural gas, less money that you're spending on your electric bill or your gas bill is more money that you have to spend in other parts of your life. That's not deficit spending or anything like that. That's like the real deal. It benefits everybody. And like you pointed out, Ohio is a big natural gas producing state, as is Western Pennsylvania and Northern West Virginia. So this facility is actually, if I understand correctly, they're talking about the Portsmouth area. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Ohio, if you picture Ohio as being basically a kind of a square, Portsmouth, where this would be located, is basically right in the middle, on the lower part, not too far north of the Ohio River Kentucky border. It would be fairly close to the site of the old Piketon uranium enrichment plant which used to be to use a tremendous amount of electricity to enrich the uranium. You've heard about uranium enrichment has been in the news a lot in the last year or so in the Middle East. And so this is what was done at that site, not too far from where they're talking about building it. The reason that is important is that because the electricity that was used for that many years, this is already interconnected so that you would be able to easily get the electricity that's generated in this plant out to the rest of the region.
Yeah, and this is huge, Jimmy. You know, you talk about everything going on in Ohio right now and all of the great work you're doing there already, and then to have this announcement. Do you have, I know you're waiting on, more of a game plan of what's to take place here, but any timeline? How long would something like this take to put into place?
Yeah, it's certainly not going to happen overnight, as much as we wish that it could. Ultimately, you have to be able to get the natural gas from point A to point B. The precise location of this is not in the natural gas producing area. That would be, probably, I would say 120 miles crow flies from that site, more up in eastern Ohio. But having said that, there are numerous transmission lines that run crisscross Ohio. So it's a matter of getting the pipeline capacity open and then built to that site. And that doesn't happen overnight. So we're talking several years, but that would be the case even for a much smaller natural gas power plant. They don't just happen overnight.
Well, it's exciting news. The president posting that on Truth Social, the announcement for several states, including Ohio. He says it's a very exciting and historic time for the United States. Japan playing a big part in investing because of tariffs. That's President Trump's favorite word, Jimmy, tariffs. Switching gears here, Ohio, I've been following a lot of the races there. Vivek Ramaswamy, how are things shaping up for the midterms?
Yeah, I think, historically speaking, midterm elections for the party in control of the White House are often difficult. It's actually the norm. So Ohio is a Republican-leaning state. Vivek Ramaswamy has an enormous fundraising advantage at this point. But I think, as anyone would tell you, the biggest enemy that they face and all of those candidates face, frankly, on either side of the aisle, is complacency. And so I think he's in a good position with the work he's been doing, traveling the state and raising money. But, to be fair, his opponent, Dr. Acton, has also been working the state. She doesn't have near the resources at this point, but certainly is mounting a very credible campaign. As you move down ticket, some of the other statewides, we do have couple competitive primaries for Secretary of State and Treasurer. Our friend Jay Edwards has a primary for Treasurer against Senator Christina Rogner. And I think one of the big battlegrounds at the federal level is going to be with our U.S. Senate race. Former Senator Sherrod Brown, who was defeated last in 2024 by Bernie Moreno, he is coming back and he is running for J.D. Vance's old seat, which is now was filled with former Lieutenant Governor and former Secretary of State John Husted, and John is doing what he needs to do to get around the state, raise the resources that he's going to need to fend off a challenge from Sherrod Brown. But that you can expect that's going to be a really a race to watch at the federal level that has big implications when you're talking about the control of the U.S. Senate.
Yeah, we're watching Ohio very closely. And also, I'm excited to see you next month. We'll be at CPAC in Dallas, Texas. Always a great time as we count down the days to CPAC. You have been going for years now, Jimmy. The Ohio University Republican Club also going. So it's going to be an exciting time next month.
Looking forward to seeing you there again. And Texas will be different spin on it. It's normally in DC and was in Orlando for a couple of years. And my understanding is going to be in Orlando again next year. So hopefully late March, Dallas, Texas weather will be better than Washington, D.C. in February weather. So
Absolutely. Bring your cowboy hat.
I need to.
All right, Jimmy Stewart, so good to see you. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Certainly. Good to see you, Vanessa.
Well, the nation's still in awe over President Trump's State of the Union address Tuesday night. We can't get enough. A historic speech that will be talked about for decades to come. Foreign policy expert Sierra Claire with us this morning because there was a lot of foreign policy highlights in his speech. Sierra, good morning to you. Your initial takeaways from the night.
Good morning, Vanessa. Yeah, as you said, it's interesting to see what was mentioned from foreign policy in the speech. Obviously, the speech is an update to Congress, and so President Trump is going to talk about some of his major wins and policy initiatives. But he really brought into focus how his foreign policy is helping Americans, and I thought that was interesting. He mentioned that we are purchasing oil from Venezuela, that shipment has arrived. He mentioned his initiatives to bring peace and how he brings families back together, returning hostages from Gaza. He mentioned also Iran. And if you looked at, what he said about Iran, of course, he mentioned his success with Operation Midnight Hammer. But he also, reiterated that he wants to try diplomacy first, but he's not afraid to use force if necessary with this latest round of negotiations. And I think it was interesting that he put that in the speech because there's so much speculation about what he is doing or what he thinks about Iran. And I think we're seeing him, just reiterate and list out everything that he's done and how he's used real-time information to make all of the decisions that he's made in foreign policy. And, I think that's important for people to remember, and it's important for President Trump to lay out his policy in that way because that's what he ran on, is peace through strength. And he didn't run on ideological things. He didn't run on saying, I'm definitely going to do this or I'm definitely not going to do that. He has all his options open to him, and he makes those decisions about what's best for American interests with real-time information.
You're right. And you hit everything really well there, going down the list of what all he discussed. Let's go back to Venezuela. He did make that announcement on Venezuela oil after the capture of Maduro. Let's listen in.
American oil production is up by more than 600,000 barrels a day, and we just received from our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil.
Yeah, so that's the first time we really got an update on the oil situation from Venezuela.
Yeah, and I thought that was perfect timing for him to announce that, during the State of the Union. And as you can see, what he did in Venezuela, not only benefited so many situations, weakening China's presence in the Western Hemisphere, weakening Iran and Hezbollah's presence in the Western Hemisphere, but also, good for American energy policy, securing oil for America as we are trying to do all of this new building that he wants to do. So it really falls in line with his plans of revitalizing American manufacturing, revitalizing American supply chains that are closer to home. And when you saw him announce that in the State of the Union, I think it's just makes it, so much harder for people, especially on the left, to say, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing, or he is, he's causing chaos around the world. And he's laying it out there in his speech that no, there was a strategy here, and now it's coming into place, and it's benefiting Americans.
I want to kind of sway over just a little bit for a second here, Sierra, because he did not talk about Cuba. Marco Rubio did yesterday, though. He gave us an update on Cuba, and I want to bring that up since we are talking about Venezuela because of their close ties. Let's take a quick listen to Marco Rubio's update.
But if the Cuban economy were a functioning economy, it would have a much larger private sector. And so what's clear is that, and I would say this, that the people of Cuba are suffering today. They've been suffering for a long time. They're suffering now, perhaps more than at any time in recent memory, perhaps in the history since 1959. This is the worst economic climate that Cuba has faced. And it is the authorities there in that government who are responsible for that. They're the ones that have made decisions that have left Cuba vulnerable to the situation they're now in.
Yeah, and he also said yesterday, Sierra, Senator Secretary now, Marco Rubio, that Iran is a threat to America ahead of negotiations, high stakes negotiations going on right now. We know Kushner is there, Witkoff is there, updating top leaders of Congress to Iran. So give us an update of what's all happening today and probably into tomorrow as well.
Yeah, well, on the Cuba thing, I loved how Rubio said that the regime is responsible for this. The government is responsible for what is going on with the people because the United States has provided humanitarian aid to Cuba via some different charities. And I believe they've even worked with Catholic charities to try to get different aids to people because of also relief from hurricanes and storms and things like that. But it's the regime that is making the people suffer. And so driving that home and reminding people of that just reinforces the policy and the isolation and cutting off the regime and hopefully, having support from our partners around the world to isolating that regime. On Iran, we're seeing negotiations continue. I'm hearing that Iran is still very far apart from the U.S., not really meeting the demands of the U.S. There is some talk about enriched uranium and possibly transferring that to the U.S. That's a demand that the U.S. has. I think that's a common sense demand that the U.S. is making. I don't see the Iranian regime agreeing to that, but they are in those negotiations and they are continuing on.
Yeah, and we'll continue to follow that. Again, those are happening today as well. The president touting Sierra being the president of peace, the wars that he has ended in just 1 year, and those that are in the process of being nipped in the bud. Let's take a listen to what he had to say about ending wars across the world.
Our country has never been stronger. In my first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia. Isn't it funny? Sick people. Cambodia and Thailand, Pakistan and India. Would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the Prime Minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement.
And of course, the left laughs at him, disrupts his speech, disrupts what he's trying to say. These are people who, under the Biden administration, this was all going on and nothing was being done about it. And President Trump has been very vocal about if I was president, a lot of these wars would have never even started. And so he's trying to come in and end these wars and talk about it at the State of the Union, and of course gets heckled by the left.
Yeah, I mean, so telling, right, of the Democrats and that they literally can't sit through a speech and hear about true facts about President Trump's policy, what he has done, and they're just in complete denial and they have to yell out about it, apparently. But as you said, he highlighted the wars that he's been involved in ending. And I think, and as you said, the world became such a dangerous place. All of these conflicts, hot spots that were simmering just all kind of took off at once under Biden because he was completely absent on the world stage. And President Trump bringing that back, reeling everything back in, which is a lot of work and a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, that I'm sure the Democrats don't even know about, how much work and as Rubio always says, political capital that Trump expends on these issues. But it was interesting, he talked about the Cambodia, he talked about the India-Pakistan issue, and both of those issues were solved with trade. And that was really how he was able to insert himself and make a difference. And then, as he said, that India-Pakistan issue is very, it's a very issue that needs to be watched closely because they are both nuclear armed states. So definitely want to keep that border peaceful, and that's how he does that with trade.
Yeah, and we'll continue to follow because, again, some of these wars are still in the negotiation phases, but he's working hard with his administration to try to put an end to it. While we have you, we've been following what's going across our border there in Mexico with the cartel, and El Mencho was killed, one of the top kingpins of the cartel, and the cartel retaliated. A lot of this, Sierra, happening in cities where a lot of Americans, Canadians, people go to these resort towns for vacation, and the cartel are burning down businesses, cars. The State Department put out releases to shelter in place. I know the airport was shut down for a little bit, and some of the resort towns. It's just really scary to see the cartel in action.
Absolutely. Often Mexico is been reported as one of the most dangerous countries, if not the most dangerous country in the world to visit. And the left continually says, that's racist or that's not true. And I think that with this latest strike on the cartels and the retaliation that we're seeing, we're seeing how true that is. We're seeing how much it's been downplayed. I'm not sure the reason why, whether it's to kind of the left wanted to somehow be best friends with the Mexican government or whatever they were getting out of that. But now we're seeing that, yeah, this country is a tinderbox. Any upset to the cartel's control, to them doing whatever they want, not having nothing to fear from the US, from the Mexican government. That's how they were operating for all of these years. And the minute that, the US aided the Mexican government in trying to change that and trying to bring down some accountability and say, no, you cannot operate, in such a barbaric manner, having these leaders like El Mencho who are just use these awful methods of suppressing people. Then you see that, now the whole country's on fire almost. And like you said, cars are being set on fire, airports had to close. So I think it's just a reminder that, number one, don't listen to the left. And at least for now, you can count on the State Department to tell you the truth. Mexico is very dangerous. And we have to remember this is right next door. This is right on our border. And that's what I hear a lot of people talking about here in California. It's like this could spill over into San Diego, into LA, if we don't put a stop to it, if we don't get control of it. So I think it's really important
You're
President
absolutely
Trump
right.
is focusing on this.
Yeah, and a lot of this was going on in Tijuana, right across the border from San Diego. So it is right on our doorsteps where this is taking place. And also, Sierra, how many cartel members are here in the U.S. whenever we had open borders under Biden? So that's what's scary as well. But seeing what's going on there is definitely an eye-opener, especially for people who are planning on vacations to Mexico. Be very careful, maybe make other arrangements, but safety first, because it is a real ongoing dangerous situation there in Mexico because of the cartel. As we wrap it up, I want to remind everyone that you have a new podcast that's out. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's called the 11 o'clock hour. I have a new episode coming out today at 11 a.m. You can find that on YouTube. More of my Substack, sierranock.substack.com, and follow me on X for updates.
And just like we were talking with Jimmy earlier from Ohio, you'll also be at CPAC next month. So we're excited to see you as well. It's just a big family reunion. We see each other on air all the time. We talk on the phone, but to really get into one spot and give each other hugs around the neck and working for a good cause to save this country, it's always special. So we'll see you there next month as well. Appreciate your time with us here this morning, Sierra. Thank you.
Thank you.
And more on the cartel when we come back and protecting our borders. Tom Homan weighs in on recent comments from the Catholic Pope. That's next.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% U.S.-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
Are you taking advantage of President Trump's golden age? Or what if I told you can just sit back and earn money as President Trump continues to repair our economy and make America energy independent again? I'm talking about oil royalty checks. With the help of the Oxford Club, thousands of Americans have unlocked this secret hack that has put money back in hard-working American pockets. Financial expert and LINDELLTV supporter Mark Litchenfield has showed me how. It's a way to profit from America's energy production that's been working quietly for decades, even when oil companies were struggling. So go to LindellOilBoom.com to find out how this all works and why it's relevant right now. That's LindellOilBoom.com.
America's founders warned that without knowledge and virtue, no nation can remain free. Yet through the steady infiltration of Marxist ideology, we have been stripped of both, and we are no longer a moral and educated people. To save America, we must spark nothing less than a national renaissance. That's why you need Freedom Talk Magazine, the journal of truth and virtue. We cultivate enlightened thinking and principled living, offering unique insights into the issues and remarkable people defining our world. Sign up today for your free subscription to Freedom Talk Magazine and join the new American Renaissance.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you MyPillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our MyPillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our MyPillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
Welcome back. Border Czar Tom Homan, that is reacting to recent comments from Pope Leo about the U.S. southern border. The Pope saying you're supposed to receive and welcome the foreigner. But Tom Homan responded with this.
What is your response to Pope Leo for being critical of the Trump administration when it comes to deporting illegals?
Well, look, I'm a lifelong Catholic, still practicing Catholic. Catholic faith is always in support of law enforcement, always has been, and he should be too. I've said it many times before, you ought to be fixing the Catholic Church because they got their own issues. But bottom line is, if we jump the wall at the Vatican, the penalties for doing that are much harder than the ones here in the United States into the country lately. So, look, what he doesn't understand is the flip side to illegal immigration. 31% of women get raped making that journey. Over 4,000 aliens died making that journey under Joe Biden. 250,000 Americans died of fentanyl because of the open border. When you overwhelm the Border Patrol, all the bad things happening. Sex trafficking increases, fentanyl increases. Securing the border saves lives. And I'd be happy to sit down and explain it to them. But illegal immigration is not a victimless crime. So President Trump having illegal immigration on 96%, he's saving thousands of lives every year.
There you have it. The Vatican has walls. Celebrities have gates around their homes, all locked up. Welcome the foreigner to your homes if you support it. Also, as a Catholic myself, I will agree to disagree with the Pope. We accept foreigners. That's how this nation was built. But let's remind everyone the legal way, legal. How many times do we have to say it? It's the illegal crossings that are the problem. And you heard Tom Homan, all of the crime that happens when these people come here illegally. Now let's go back to the Capitol where Indiana Congressman Marlin Stutzman is standing by with our Allison Steinberg to talk about the key issues being discussed over the coming weeks in Congress.
Hello, everybody. Allison Steinberg here with LINDELLTV. We are with Congressman Marlin Stutzman. Congressman, thanks so much for being with us today. And there's so much to talk about and celebrate. So many wins for Republicans, though it's been, quite a year already. Yes. Let's talk about the housing situation. I know you've been working really hard to make housing affordable again for Americans. Where are we at with that?
Well, first of all, housing, it's the American dream. I mean, I know I did when I was a young boy at home and working. It's like, I want to buy my own house someday, and was fortunate enough to be able to buy my house around the age of 28, 29. But that is actually now, average age of buying a home has now moved up to 38 to 40 years old. So housing has become really difficult for the American people to either buy a new home or buy their first home. And so we've been focusing on getting government out of the way. We always say it as conservatives, we need less spending and less government. And so we've been streamlining these rules and these agencies that have rules that overlap with other agencies, and saying, look, let's get on the same page. Let's not make it more difficult for building a home. Let's try to, let's get on getting government into the same space. We don't need, the HUD and USDA to have a different set of rules either. Let's have one set of rules so the American people can build and enjoy the American dream that they pursued.
Absolutely, and I think that's so critical because it's sort of become, a concept that is very unattainable for most people. So it's so critical that we get back to making housing affordable again, allowing people to buy their first home. To your point, that age is getting older and older. I don't think I could do it, and I'm in my 30s, so it's tough out there, but we appreciate your efforts to do just that. Talk to us also about, Trump's done an incredible job cleaning up the border. I think that's probably his biggest success so far, and he just hosted the Angel families at the White House yesterday and made that a national day to recognize them. How are we doing on the fentanyl issue? Is it still coming through the border? Is it still something we need to be paying attention to? I know he's done a great job trying to clean it up, but where are we at?
It is. No, President Trump has done a phenomenal job on the border, and that was one of the big promises that he made, and he's followed through. He's followed through on so many promises that he's made. I've always said a high wall and a wide gate, but we still have some problems. I was actually in Arizona with my friend Abe Hamadeh, and there's an Indian reservation down there that refuses the federal government to be on the property to build a wall, and so it's right across the Mexican border, and so all these fentanyl manufacturing facilities are still in Mexico, and they're shipping fentanyl in through that gap in the wall in Arizona, and of course once they're in, they can go anywhere in the country. So it is still a problem. That's why I think President Trump should have the ability to use tariffs because it's a national security situation. But one thing that is much better is that we're not seeing thousands and thousands of people coming across the border like we did under the Biden administration, which was creating such havoc, whether it was drug trafficking, human trafficking. We can't lay our head down. But President Trump, again, he goes to the border and he builds a wall. And if that's not enough, he starts hitting these drug boats that are coming across on water. And talk about a war on drugs. President Trump has shown us how to actually fight drugs.
Absolutely. And this, I would think, would be an issue that everyone would be on board with. But unfortunately, we've seen the Democrats somehow defend the drug traffickers, the human traffickers, the criminal aliens that have been let in under Joe Biden.
Fishing boats. They're just fishing boats.
Exactly. It really is incredible. And I know after listening to the Angel families that were there at the White House yesterday, they are so incredibly grateful for all the work that President Trump has done on this front because no one else has done it, which is just shocking. And it just goes to show how important, how necessary it truly is. So that is wonderful. I'm glad we're seeing such great progress there. But you mentioned the tariffs, and the Supreme Court just recently had an interesting ruling. I don't think the president was very happy about that. Do you think that's going to hinder his efforts to really make America wealthy and prosperous again?
Well, one thing about President Trump, he's a businessman. And it's like, you know what, and I'm a business guy, and you're told no one day. So it's like, I got to figure something else out in order to get the job done. And that's one thing, President Trump, he knows how to get the job done, and he will find another way. And I believe, in fact, this is something that I think is important for us, even as conservatives, to talk about, is would you rather have tariffs in place and reduce income taxes? I've heard President Trump talk about that before, how much he hates the income tax that we have in this country. And I think that that's a conversation that we truly should have. But it's also, tariffs can be used as a tool to level the playing field between us and China. I mean, that's the biggest trade imbalance that we deal with. And we saw all these jobs leaving our country, going to China, going overseas, and President Trump is using tariffs to bring those back. The other thing, too, that he's doing, he really looks out for the little guy, whether it's no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. The Trump accounts are the other one that I think are phenomenal. It's going to be the greatest transfer of wealth from one generation to future generations through the Trump accounts. I mean, whether it's Michael and Susan Dell committing billions to give to kids that are going to be born over the next 4 years is really remarkable. And so I love the innovation and the thought that the Trump administration puts behind so many different policies.
Yeah, I love it too, and it's going to take some time to really see the amazing benefits that are resulting from all of these new policies. We were just at the Republican Study Committee roundtable this morning where they had real Americans in to highlight how Republican policies have benefited them, how they're literally getting more money back into their pockets now that it's tax season, people not having to owe money to the government for the first time ever. It's amazing. Yet we have Democrats continually trying to smear these policies, trying to brainwash their constituents into believing that somehow these are detrimental to the average American. I mean, how do you argue that? How do you say this is bad when people are literally doing better probably than ever in a long time?
You know, I think Republicans and, of course, with the leadership of President Trump, have outsmarted Democrats on so many different fronts. I mean, the fact that they are, Democrats used to defend the unions. Well, they don't even do that anymore. They defend people who are illegal. I mean, and they should not be voting. And that's why the Save America and the Save America the Save America Act is so important to make sure that it's only citizens that vote. And again, we see states like California, Michigan, New York, they're going to all find a way to cheat in order to win elections. And that's why, talk about a threat to democracy. The fact that people don't have to show an ID in some states but do in others, that's a threat to democracy. We should all be on under the same rules when it comes to our voting ID laws. But I would say that President Trump just continues to outsmart the other side on every front, whether it's on economic policy, trade policy. I mean, look at what's happening on its international policy. I mean, the fact that, Iran is on its heels, and I hope that we can help topple that regime with the Iranian people and help the Iranian people enjoy freedom again, experience freedom again. If there's a group of people that deserve it, they do. And but again, America is strong. When America's strong, the rest of the world is in a much better place.
Very well said. I totally agree. And last question as we wrap up here. You mentioned the Save America Act, so I have to ask you about it because we are so frustrated that it still hasn't been brought to the floor for a vote in the Senate. I know you guys did your job in the House, but what is going on in the Senate, for heaven's sake? The last time we talked, it had just freshly passed the House, but I mean, it's been sitting there for like 2+ weeks now.
It's a no-brainer. It should happen. And I think, again, this shows the Senate rules. Republicans, we follow the rules. Democrats don't. And but there's a rule in the Senate that says you have to have 60 senators shut off debate. Well, that's called the cloture rule, the filibuster rule. We call it, I think you actually, the first time I heard it was the zombie filibuster, and I've been using that ever since because they don't have to go to the floor and talk. And so they should do a talking filibuster if Democrats want to stop a vote. And, we passed it in the House with a simple majority. They could do the same in the Senate with a simple majority. It needs to happen before the 2026 election because we know, I mean, you look at the 2020 election, the numbers tell a story. Something was wrong. and we can't let Democrats cheat again in states that would give them the advantage and win the majority back, especially in the House of Representatives. If Democrats win the House, we are back to impeachments, we're back to investigations of the president. It's going to be a mess, and it's so important for Republicans to keep the House and to continue to support the good, strong economic policies and safety policies for the American people.
It is so absolutely critical, and gosh, I can't even imagine what this nation's going to look like if we don't win. So this time is absolutely pivotal. What is your final message? What is the messaging to the American people, specifically the younger voters who maybe, don't feel super energized to turn out, who maybe don't think Republicans have accomplished a whole lot? What is the messaging now?
Well, first of all, we're still fixing, it's that cleanup on aisle 5 of Joe Biden. I mean, the Biden and the Democrats over the last 5 years just made a complete mess. I mean, whether it's the border, whether it was spending, I mean, they were sending out trillions of dollars out of the federal budget that we didn't have, and they caused inflation to go up. They caused the cost of housing to go up. Interest rates were at highs that kept people from buying homes. So it's tough to turn this massive ship overnight, but it's coming, and we're starting to see it in the stock market. We're seeing it. It needs to get to Main Street, and I think that's the critical point. Is once we get through this tax season, I think people will realize that hey, you know what? They're paying less in taxes. This economy is going to start picking up and be even stronger. I know it's doing well on Wall Street. It really needs to reflect that on Main Street, and that's where I'm a small business owner. And it's coming. We can feel it, but I think it'll really pick up over the next 6 months.
Well, let's hope. We will certainly be praying that everyone turns out and keeps America strong.
Yes.
Congressman Stutzman, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Congressman Stutzman, always great to see him here on Lindell TV. We will take a quick break. More here when we come back.
Let's face it, you can't trust Big Pharma. They've already tried to block ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and raise prices on everything from antibiotics to your daily meds. Well, there's good news. All Family Pharmacy is standing up for medical freedom and helping people get the treatments they actually want. My family and I use them all the time. They made it easy and affordable without the runaround. While other pharmacies are jacking up prices, they've actually dropped theirs. Ivermectin now starts at just $2 a capsule. Use my promo code LINDELL10, you get an extra 10% off of that. You need ivermectin, antibiotics, or methylene blue, you name it, they've got it. They make it simple. You fill out a short online form, a licensed doctor reviews it, and your meds ship fast right to your front door. If you want to be prepared and have your medications on hand, this is your new pharmacy. Visit allfamilypharmacy.com/Lindell. Promo code LINDELL10 saves you even more. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/Lindell. Promo code LINDELL10. For the first time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping. If you want to drop extra pounds, boost energy levels, and reduce swelling in your legs and feet, then this message is for you. Pure Health Research is on a mission to make America healthy again. And 2 of their best-selling health supplements are leading the way. First is Liver Health Formula. Over 100 million Americans have a sluggish liver that's riddled with fatty deposits. This can kill your metabolism, pile on the pounds, and make you feel tired. Liver Health Formula takes care of that. It supports thriving liver health with special nutrients like artichoke extract and milk thistle. This is one of the easiest ways to slim down and revitalize your energy levels. Next is lymph system support. If you struggle with fluid buildup or swelling in your legs, ankles, and feet, this is for you. The natural ingredients in lymph system support help gently flush away extra fluid and toxins out of your body. And right now, for a limited time, you can get 35% off liver health formula and lymph system support, along with 50 plus other health supplements that Pure Health Research has to offer. So head over to purehealthresearch.com and use promo code Lindell at checkout. That's purehealthresearch.com, promo code Lindell to save 35% on your order today.
Let's take a quick look at opening bell on Wall Street. Numbers from MarketWatch. The Dow up this morning at this hour. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ are down at this time. Looking quickly at your news to go, Vice President J.D. Vance will visit Wisconsin today. He will visit a machining facility where he will deliver remarks celebrating President Trump's accomplishments following the State of the Union address. And tomorrow, again, President Trump will be in Corpus Christi, Texas, at the port of Corpus Christi. Be looking for coverage on the president's visit on Lindell TV. You can find that on LINDELLTV.com and also the Lindell TV app. It is free in your app store. We leave you today in prayer from the book of Proverbs. The Bible says, "The naive believes everything, but the sensible man considers his steps." As we go, a reminder to follow me on social media, X, Vocal Truth Social, Instagram, and YouTube. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Have a good day, America.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including Lindell TV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to Lindell TV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as